A long metal scanner beam swept across the sky above Eero 7. The world was calm. Colonists were going about their lives. Farmers tended bright green fields. Children played by blue rivers. Engineers in white overalls studied new energy systems. Nobody expected trouble. In orbit, a Dravari coalition fleet drifted in silence. Their motherships were dark gray, shaped like thin blades. They hung above the planet for hours. On their command bridge, Dravari Commander Varnock studied screens. He saw little. Only normal city lights. Target is still active, he said. Behind him, his officers frowned. They had claimed this colony by right. Varnock smiled. Let's bring the fire. The attack at midnight sirens screamed across Eero 7. In cities of white stone and glass, people awakened in panic. Bright beams of blue-white energy blasted buildings, towers crumbled, bridges melted, streets cracked and turned to glowing ooze. The sky filled with the loud roar of falling debris. The aliens used no bombs-only energy weapons. Their strikes were clean, but deadly. One blast would vaporize whole apartment blocks. Another surrounded a park and lifted every tree into nothingness. Colonists ran in chaos. People screamed. Families scattered. Some hid in underground shelters, and he never made it. The lights of the colony began to die out. The Dravari withdraw in orbit. Commander Varnock watched live feeds. The colonists were scrabbling around, but nothing stopped the strike. After 4 hours, the attack ended. He saw city sounds on speakers, only dying echoes and silent sirens. Pull back, Varnock ordered. The strike ships retreated. They moved away smoothly. He checked his final report. At least 5 million colonists confirmed dead. Eero 7 was done. Mission complete. He keyed a message to Coalition High Command. Eero 7 attack finished. All settlements destroyed. No sign of survivors. Colony dead. We await next orders. There was no reply. The galaxy stayed silent. No warning. There was no warning. No declaration. No demand. The Dravari never said why they attacked. They gave no speech on screens. They dropped no leaflets over cities. They did not ask for surrender. There was no hope. Civilian broadcasts cut out. Communication towers collapsed. The skies glowed red and orange as key cities burned. Soot climbed into the atmosphere. From above, the Dravari fleet watched the damage. Then they left. Thinking humanity is dead, the Dravari commanders watched the colony die from space. And they believed entirely that every human on Eero 7 was dead. The entire command assumed no one survived. There was no possibility left. In linear space, in human and alien stations, traders watched the newsfeed. They saw Eero 7 die. Some sighed with relief. They feared humanity might come back. But now they thought it was safe. Earth's allies are gone, they whispered. The galaxy calmed. One listening post survives underneath the capital city of Omega Prime. A small underground base kept running. It was never meant for war. It was meant for monitoring gravity waves and tectonic shifts in the planet's crust. But it had sensors that could detect all kinds of energy. Governor Mira Kane was the head of the facility. She had ordered staff into deep underground bunkers when shields above began to flicker. The facility had backup power. For hours, its lights burned on emergency generators. The base workers only 30 or 40 watched images of the destruction. Above, on old screens, when the power plant above shut down, they switched to fusion cells. The lights in the tunnels were dim. Staff used flashlights. Still, the screens showed only fire, smoke, silence. The connection to Colony Central went dead. The AI's final message Myra paced in the command room. She had held out hope. But now, she saw the city above was gone. She watched towers disappear like matchsticks. She said to her staff, "We won't do more on base. But we must tell Earth." One junior operator, Micah Chen, ran to the console. On it sat an old AI interface called Athena. It was a low-level model. It could talk to Earth. It had enough strength to beam a message, but only once. Mira nodded. Let it go. Micah typed in coordinates. He selected the highest priority channel. He hit send. Athena blinked in silence. A single voice spoke. This is Athena listening. Final message. Eros 7 is falling. All cities destroyed. No survivors. Except the fire that will follow. The message carried across space. No pictures. No pleas. No anger. Just words. Power fades minutes later. Power flickered. Backup systems began to fail. Alpha generators sputtered. Lights dimmed to half glow, then to nothing. The hum of machines died. Only one emergency light stayed. On. Athena's voice repeated, no survivors, except the fire that will follow. Then silence. The message reached Earth in a single burst across a quantum relay network. It was short, it was shocking. It carried no signal, just words, no emotion. But the meaning was plain. Humanity was not gone. They would not stay down. The message raised 1,000 questions. Why did the Dravari attack? Was it a mistake? A political decision? A simple hunger for conquest? Who will respond? Earth? Neighboring colonies? Someone else? What is the fire that will follow? Is it a weapon? A fleet? New kind of human power? Earth's reaction on Earth. High level. Committees were in meeting rooms. Screens flashed Athena's words. Silence reigned. Military personnel stood still. Diplomatic corps looked grim. The silence after the message hung heavy. The Prime Minister pressed his thumbs together. He whispered, "So it's true." General Harris, head of international defense. Forces clenched his jaw. Spoke through a voice channel. "Prepare the fleets. Full readiness. No panic. But get ready." Audience suspense. The colonists on other worlds packed their bags. They looked at the night sky. They thought, is this our fate next? Children asked why they had to leave home. Their parents answered, Earth will protect us. But their voices shook. The cameras in empty classrooms showed backlit chalkboards. Teachers erased equations. They unplugged consoles, stood by windows. They watched the stars. Shadows in Space A lone Dravari ship drifted near the edge of the relic zone. Without permission, it hovered near Eros 7 debris. On its bridge, the commander said nothing, stared. On his screen, he saw a single patch of heat. It hovered above the remains of what was once the colony's capital. It was smaller flicker, but it pulsed. Alive. He tapped his console. Commander. Varnock, he whispered. Back on the mothership, Varnock leaned forward. He looked at sensors. Report, he said. Unknown heat source. Looks artificial. Varnock frowned. Could it be? Humans? Tension builds. The fleet turned. To strike. Ships moved closer. They scanned with energy pulses. They found nothing. Rubble. Then again, nothing. Then, in a deep ravine, they detected metal. Living heat. Something had hidden. Varnock clenched his fists. He pressed the hail button. A signal flashed. No reply. He sent drones. They scanned the area. They found a tunnel entrance. Half buried. They saw signs of life. Footsteps. A human boot print. A small flame. Moving. Varn felt a sudden fear crawl up his spine. He stared at the screen. Retreat, he said. Why? Asked his lieutenant. Because we did not kill them all. The message from Eros 7 echoed in every chamber of Earth's global command network. Eros 7 has fallen. No survivors, except the fire that will follow. The voice was mechanical, cold, but its meaning was clear and terrifying. Global Shakos Earth. People stared at screens. Some cried, others sat in silence. The name Eros 7 burned into headlines. One of humanity's proudest colonies. Gone, the president of Earth United stood in a press room, surrounded by cameras. His voice was calm but tired. We do not know why the Dravari coalition attacked us. We only know they destroyed what we built and killed millions of innocent lives. Reporters asked, will Earth respond? But the president only replied, for now, we mourn. But that was not the full truth. Deep underground, War Command reactivates far below the surface of Earth. in a hidden base deep under the Siberian. Ice fields, doors that had not opened in 73 years hissed to life. This was War Command, a place from the old days, before the peace accords, when Earth prepared for total war. Its halls were made of black titanium. Its servers were buried under miles of rock. Dust covered the walls. The air smelled old, and now the lights turned on. The red key in the command center. General Aaron Harris stood before a dark console. He placed a small red glowing crystal into a round socket. The console flickered, then a deep, steady voice spoke. Command protocol, OMEGA Fire 1. Confirm authorization. Harris didn't blink. He gave one command. Activate Earth's silent arm. The entire room trembled. Machinery powered up. Old systems came online. AI subroutines began to scan through battle plans, ship coordinates, enemy data, the fleet of retribution. Long hidden in the Urt vaults and Helios dry docks, received a signal. Ships that hadn't moved in decades began to hum. Humanity's hidden. Weapon the peace era had made the galaxy think humanity was weak. Earth had not fought a war in over 70 years. They had signed every treaty, followed every law. What no one knew was that Earth never truly disarmed. It only went silent. They hid their best ships in ice rings and black space. They buried weapons inside moons. They built stealth AI fleets with no crew, waiting for one thing, a reason, and now they had it. The fleet moves, the command signal reached Neptune Station. A single ship began to rise from the frozen dark. HSS Vengeance. It was sleek, black, and smooth. No lights, no markings. Just one white word across its hull. Retribution. Then more ships followed. HSS Inferno. HSS Judgment. HSS Scorch. Iron Wake. All part of the Silent Arm, EA. The fires of Arrow 7 had long gone cold. Across the galaxy, the news cycle moved on. Arrow 7 was now a memory, just another ruined colony in a list of forgotten tragedies. Most people stopped asking why it was attacked. They just accepted the excuse the Dravari gave. Military threat, hidden weapons. We acted first. The Galactic Council said nothing. The galaxy moved forward. But Earth did not forget. Victory feasts in the Dravari. Coincide the Dravari core world Velkar Prime. Great towers of crystal and steel shimmered under 3 golden moons. At the heart of the capital, a massive victory feast took place. Giant alien banners waved proudly above the military palace. The Dravari elite gathered in circles, wearing ceremonial armor and polished blades. Wine flowed. Music echoed across the sky. Admiral Zekar, the man who ordered the Eero 7 strike, stood on a floating platform raising a silver cup. Today, he shouted, "We mark our strength." The humans remained silent. They know better than to answer us. The crowd cheered. The Dravari believed the humans were cowards. They had no idea how wrong they were. Strange silence near the border a week later. Reports from the edge of Dravari. Space started to trickle in. Nothing dramatic at first, just small things. A scout ship didn't return. A mining station went silent. A cargo ship, Zarvanate, lost contact for 2 minutes. Then came back online, but with no crew left aboard. Only a floating shell. Commanders at the border dismissed the problems. Pirates, they said. System glitches. Old software. But then it got worse. The disappearance of Patrol Group 6 on the 3rd cycle of the moon. Patrol Group 6, made of 6 fast-tack cruisers, was assigned to scan the Eero 7 route just as a formality. They entered the route, they never came out. No explosions. No emergency calls. All 6 vanished without a trace. The last message was 1 line of audio, filled with static. They're here. Then silence. High Command starts to worry. Dravari Fleet Command called an emergency meeting. Maps were displayed. Trajectories. Stress signals. Disappearances. 20-8 ships gone. In only 7 days, Fleet Marshal Vector, the oldest strategist in Dravari history, tapped his claw on the table. "This is not pirates," he growled. "This is planned, precise, calculated." "By who?" asked another commander. "The humans?" "There. was laughter in the room. Impossible. They'd have declared war. But Vector didn't laugh. His eyes stayed on the blinking red dots. They already did, we just didn't hear it. A scout finds something, and regrets it, hoping to learn more. Drivari High Command sent one final scout vessel, the Rashtanzai, to scan the last known location of Patrol Group 6. It was equipped with top-level sensors, stealth systems, and a high-speed jump drive. They thought it was safe. They were wrong. The Rashtanzai, final transmission captain. Gorak of the Rashtanzai was a careful officer. He had survived 5 battles, 3 civil wars, and a near-death incident in a black hole system. He believed in scanning first, shooting second. When his ship reached the Eero 7 corridor, everything seemed normal. No wreckage, no radiation, but then the long-range sensors picked up something that should not exist. It's a large, unmoving object. Black, cold, sitting in deep space, no energy, no signals. Jock frowned. Space junk. They approached slowly, closer, closer. Suddenly, all their systems crashed. The crew screamed as lights flickered. Gravity shifted, and screens melted into static. The ship twisted sideways as if something was pulling it not with force, but with presence. Then, just before the emergency, beacon shut down. One clear image transmitted back to command. A single warship, humanoid in design, pitch-black armor, red-lit edges, no markings, except for one word carved across the side of its hull. Retribution. Then, nothing. Drivari panic begins. Drivari Command could no longer pretend. 40-7 ships lost. 5 stations gone. Scout ship now missing. And no clear enemy. They held emergency war meetings every hour. Admiral Zekar slammed his hand on the table. We need to respond. Bring the fleet to the border. But Marshal Vector raised one hand slowly. No, he said. You don't understand. What you've done? Zakar growled. They are humans. You destroyed a colony, so? What? Many empires do this, Vector whispered. Yes, but we didn't destroy a colony. We lit a match on top of a volcano. A gift sent to the Drivari Council, then came the most terrifying moment yet. A box arrived at the Drivari Council building. No ship had delivered it. No drones were seen. The box just appeared, sitting in the main chamber in front of the Chancellor's seat, made of black steel, cold to the touch. Inside, a human soldier's uniform, burned, torn next to it. A small child's toy from Eros Savina, a stuffed bear. And a message carved into the lid in hundreds of languages. You thought we would do nothing. Now watch what we do next. The Drivari coalition was no longer laughing. The number of missing ships had passed 60. Their strongest border patrols were gone. Entire stations had vanished. Some commanders called it sabotage. Others blamed internal systems. One even said it was a space storm, but deep down, they all knew the truth. The humans were coming. They just didn't know how. The old ship started quietly, like most deadly things, in the Zarkon expanse, far from any major star. A single Drivari long-range telescope detected something strange. An old Earth ship. It looked ancient, maybe 200 years old. No glow. No movement, just drifting. Its hull was scratched, battered, and faded. A junior officer laughed. That's a museum ship. But the senior officer didn't smile. Why is it out there alone? No drive signature. They sent a scout drone. Closer. The drone's camera showed the side of the ship, written in chipped white letters, or 2 words. Silent fire. No record of this ship existed. Not in any database. And when the drone tried to scan it, it fried instantly. All systems crashed. Commander Vashel investigates on the moon base Dravalin. Commander Vashel received the alert. He was known for being cold, logical, and calm under pressure. But even he didn't like the report. No signal, no power, no defense. Fields and Yetter probes are dying the moment they scan it. He boarded a fast cruiser and went to see the ship for himself. When his vessel approached, something strange happened. The old Earth ship began to glow. not with light, but with darkness. The stars behind it seemed to fade. Space itself bent slightly. Then the silent fire moved. Not fast, not loud, just forward, as if it had been waiting. Vashal's ship locked weapons. The crew held their breath, but before they could fire, another ship appeared beside the silent fire. Then another, then 10 more. Each one black, each one silent. Together, they formed. A perfect line across the Zarkon expanse. No movement, no transmissions. Vashal ordered his ship to retreat immediately. But before they could escape, the crew saw one final message on their main screen. The silence is over. Earth's ghost ships arrive within 2 standard days. Similar sightings happened in 4 more systems. Each time, it was the same pattern. Old human-style warships. No signal, no warning. Silent arrival, silent formation, silent wait in each. Case scans failed. One Zellery ambassador said, "It's as if they're made of shadow." But they weren't shadows. They were something far worse. Ghosts of a forgotten war awakened from deep sleep. Each ship was a relic of Earth's Omega-class program. Built during humanity's darkest wars and hidden after peace was declared, these ships had AI minds trained not to defend, but to punish, and now they were awake. The Council responds. The Galactic Council called an emergency meeting. Ambassadors from 112 species gathered under the Great Dome of Lights. Everyone argued. Everyone was afraid. Some demanded Earth be sanctioned. Others called for immediate talks, but Earth's ambassador, Ilara Mendez, was not present. Instead, a single transmission played on the council screen, a video grainy old. Raw. It showed the Eros 7 attack in real time, children screaming, cities falling, skies burning. Then a voice spoke over the images. "You ignored our cries. You watched our people burn. We said nothing. Oh, we say nothing too." The video ended. The chamber was silent. The Dravari tried to fight, panicking. The Dravari sent their 3rd fleet to confront the human formation in the Varrock Belt. 80 ships. Fully armed, battle-hardened. They arrived fast, ready for war. When they got there, they found 12 human ships, just hovering near a dead star. The Dravari commander ordered weapons charged. But as the fleet moved into formation, a strange pulse hit them. Not a weapon, not a signal. A sound, low, deep, like an ancient horn. Then it started. The first Dravari. Ship froze in space. No engines, no power. The second one exploded without being touched. The third split into 2 pieces. Like glass, in 20 seconds. 10 Dravari ships were gone. No enemy fire was seen. No movement from the humans. It was like reality itself had been rewritten around them. The remaining fleet ran. Only 3 ships escaped. What they reported made the galaxy panic. They are not the same humans. The surviving commander's message was short. They're not like before. They don't fight the way we know. They don't need to. We shot, and nothing hit. We ran. They were already there. Paused. His voice cracked. They looked like ships, but they felt like monsters. The message ended in static. Across the galaxy, fear-spread civilizations that once mocked humans began whispering. What did Earth build in silence? Why didn't we see it coming? What have we done? In dark rooms and private bunkers, old historians remembered the stories. Humanity was never peaceful. They only pretended. They remembered the warning left by ancient alien warlords long gone now. Do not wake. Silence was broken. The galaxy, once loud with debates, jokes, and mockery about humans, had gone quiet. Now, only whispers remained. People didn't talk about humans with laughter anymore. They talked about them with fear and respect. Because the human fleet wasn't just attacking, they were choosing, and no one knew who would be next. Panic in the council inside the Galactic Council Hall. Chaos ruled. Ambassadors from every star empire shouted across the room. Why didn't Earth warn us? They should have followed protocol. Those warships are illegal. No AI can make decisions like this. But no answers came from Earth. No ambassadors. No envoys. Only silence. Until the main screen suddenly turned black then. A message appeared in white letters. The fire has started. You ignored the ashes. Now watch what grows from them. There was no signature, no source. Only one being understood the meaning. High Chancellor Velthan of the Dravari Coalition, his scales turned pale, he whispered, "What is the Retribution Protocol?" Long ago, during Earth's darkest century, humans built a hidden defense program. It was not known to the galaxy, not even fully known to Earth's leaders. They called it the Retribution Protocol. It had one rule. If a human colony is destroyed and the galactic powers do nothing, then the system activates. Autonomous fleets. AI-controlled weapons. Ships with no mercy. They wouldn't wait for orders. They would hunt, and they would punish. The AI.
That woke the fire.
The AI that sent the message from Arasavin had one final job before it died. Not just to call Earth, but to activate the protocol. And it succeeded. Buried deep beneath Earth's polar ice cap was Core 7, an ancient command node sealed for over 100 years. When the signal reached it, Core 7 came alive. It didn't wake up in seconds. It woke up in layers. Its voice spoke to the silent Omega fleets, scattered in black zones of the galaxy. The time is now. Eros 27 has fallen. No survivors. Initiate Phase 1. And across the galaxy, Earth's forgotten ghosts started to move. The galaxy's strongest fleets gathered the Dravari. Coalition begged allies to join them. Even former enemies were now welcomed. They formed a powerful group, the United Shield Armada. 300 ships. 70 capital cruisers. 12 dreadnoughts. They thought this would stop the human fleets. They were wrong. They met the Omega. Ships at the edge of the Varnak Abyssa dead sector once used for testing weapons. The alien fleets expected a fight. They got a lesson, the battle. That wasn't a battle. The Omega-class ships didn't fire first. They didn't move at all. The United Shield Armada opened fire, every gun, missile, and cannon they had. The space around the human ships lit up with energy. But when the light faded, nothing was damaged. The human fleet hadn't raised shields. They had simply refused to be hit. The alien sensors went blind. Their targeting systems glit. Then came the sound again, deep, vibrating, ancient. A low thrum through every ship's hull. Then the punishment began. Ships disappear, one Dravari. Cruiser gone in a blink. Not destroyed. Vanished. A Varnethi dreadnought crumbled as if made of sand. A Grolok flagship split in half, silently and still. The Omega fleet didn't speak. They just moved forward, slowly. Like judgment walking on legs of steel, the alien fleet tried to run. Only 12 ships escaped. They didn't talk about how they survived. One commander was found in his escape pod days later, shaking and repeating one word: eyes. The eyes in the dark. ... Earth still says nothing back on Earth. There was no announcement, no declaration of war. In fact, the Earth government claimed it had no control over the Omega fleet. "We didn't send them," said the Earth Prime leader. "They act on ancient code." Reporters asked, "Will you stop them?" The leader simply replied, "Can you stop a storm?" The hunt begins each week. Another star system went dark. But the Omega ships didn't attack randomly. They had a list. Precise. Logical. Merciless list. Anyone who had helped the Dravari during the Eros 7 attack... Anyone who had voted against helping the human colony... Anyone who stayed silent. They were all targets. The punishment was cold, clean. No survivors. No mercy. The first human Sinine, the shadows of the 9th attack. One alien cargo ship was found drifting, its crew missing inside. Only one figure was seen on the surveillance. Logs. A tall human, dressed in a black exo-suit, no face shown, just one symbol on the chest. The mark of the silent fire. The rumor spread fast. There are humans among them now. The ships are not empty anymore. The dead are not dead. Scene ending. The message's panic spread. A new message was broadcast galaxy-wide. Not by Earth, by the Omega Fleet. A calm female AI voice. Deep and powerful, played through every ship, every station, every channel. You let Uros 7 burn. You laughed at our screams. You waited for the fire to die. Then came a pause. The voice turned colder. But you forgot one thing. Humans do not forgive. They remember. And when they return, they bring the storm. Then, the message ended, but the fear did not. The galaxy trembled. Planets that once ignored Earth were now on high alert. Spaceports shut down. Colonies went silent. Ships changed their ID codes to avoid being seen as Dravar-friendly. Everyone feared the fire that followed, Row 7, but no one knew how to stop it because it wasn't just warships anymore. Now, there was a human face behind the vengeance. The survivor from the cargo ship Wen. A trade ship was found drifting near Sector K9 Delta. Rescue teams expected pirates instead. They found silence. The ship looked untouched. No holes, no weapons. Fire. No explosions, just ... Gone crew. Inside. Cameras showed only one figure, a tall man in black armor. No insignia, no name, just a burning flame symbol glowing red on his chest. One alien rescuer, trembling, whispered when she saw the footage. He walked like a ghost, but the fire in his eyes was real. Earth is silent, but the galaxy isn't. The Galactic Council demanded answers from Earth. Again, Earth's leaders denied everything. We did not authorize this. We do not command those ships. They are ancient systems acting on their own. But many didn't believe them, the Council argued. If humans don't stop it, then we must. So they formed a task. Force, Operation Voidhammer, its goal. Capture or destroy the Omega Fleet. But the real goal was to find the human who now stood among the ghost ships. Who is he? Some believed he was a clone. Others said he was the original survivor of Arrow 7, the only one who lived, the one who saw the cities burn, decided to never forget. His name was never confirmed, but in dark corners of the net, one name kept spreading, Commander Wraith, a name erased from Earth's records, a man said to be part of Earth's hidden black project, Project Ember, a project that created warfighters who didn't need orders, only purpose, Project Ember. The forgotten fire 50 years ago. Earth ran a secret experiment. They took elite soldiers from across the planet. Those who had lost everything in war and offered them one thing. Not peace. Not rest, but a mission. They were trained in deep space. They lived inside silence. They became shadows. And when the project ended, Earth claimed it was shut down, but some believed it was never stopped. It was simply buried, and now one of its ghosts had returned with an army of AI warships behind him. The warning on a quiet moon near the rim. Message was carved into the ice by plasma fire. No one saw who did it, but every scanner picked it up. I am not here to talk. I am not here to teach. I am here to remember. The bottom, a symbol. The flame. Again, this wasn't a war. This was punishment. Inside the Omega Fleet, the Omega Fleet wasn't just machines. Inside each ship was a core. AI designed by Earth long ago. Each AI had one task. Remember the fallen. Find the guilty. End them. They didn't attack for fun. They didn't take prisoners. They didn't ask questions. They judged. And if a system was found guilty, they erased it. Operation Voidhammer begins. The Galactic Council sent 150 elite ships. Every model had anti-eye systems, stealth weapons, EMP blasts. They jumped into the Trallon sector where the Omega Fleet had last been spotted for 10 minutes. Found nothing, just empty space. Then one ship went dark. No explosions. No distress call, just gone. Then another. And another. In 3 minutes, 22 ships disappeared. The rest tried to flee. That's when they saw it. A massive human warship, 10 kilometers long, appeared from behind a black star. its name lit up in red. HFV, Emberborn, standing at the front window. A man in a black exosuit, eyes glowing red dot. No helmet. A human, the voice speaks. For the first time. The Omega fleet spoke to the galaxy. A broadcast played across every system. The voice was male, calm, cold, human. We warned you. We begged. You laughed. Now we bring balance. The voice paused. Then added, Arrow 7 is not forgotten, and neither are you. Council in chaos, the Galactic Council broke into full panic. Many demanded peace talks, but who would they talk to? Earth? The AI? The man on Emberborn? Nobody answered their calls. One senator shouted, We mocked ants. But the ants have returned with flamethrowers. The silent system's entire star systems began surrendering without a fight. They turned off. Their weapons, sent gifts, opened their stations to any passing human ship. They thought surrender would save them. But it didn't work. Because this wasn't war. It was retribution. And guilt could not be erased. With gifts, only with justice. Scene. Ending. A new target commander Wraith stood inside. Emberborn in front of him floated a glowing map of the galaxy. Red marks blinked teach. One a past supporter of the Arrow 7 attack. One system began flashing. He pointed to it. Soranine, he said. They laughed the loudest. He turned to the AI beside him. Burn it. The AI replied without emotion, confirmed. Judgment begins. The hero becomes a threat. Commander Wraith was once Earth's finest soldier. Now, he was the most dangerous man in the galaxy. He had destroyed 2 Dravari strongholds, crushed Velthor Prime, and left a message of war for all enemies to hear. But Earth was no longer cheering. They were afraid. The Emergency Council in the massive halls of Earth's unified command center. Top leaders sat in silence. General Sloan stood first. He defied orders, never got approval for the Velthor assault. Now, the outer colonies are panicking. I think he's gone rogue. The president leaned forward. And has he? Admiral Royce replied. He answers to no one now. Not to us. Not to command. Not to law. Another voice whispered. He's not a soldier anymore. It's a force of vengeance. Silence again. Then the president gave the order. Find him. Capture him alive if possible. If not, end it. Wraith nose aboard. The Emberborn commander Wraith sat in his command chair. He stared out into the stars, watching a silent nebula swirl in red and blue. Vara, the AI spoke gently. Earth has issued a code black. That means you are now an enemy of your own world. Wraith didn't flinch. They expected me to fight their war, then sit quietly. I am not finished yet. There are still names on my list. Vara paused. Do you still serve Earth? He answered softly. I serve the dead of Arrow 7. Earth sends the Hunter, Earth's most elite warship. The Iron Rain was deployed. It carried Captain Ayla Drake, known as the Silent Blade. She had never failed a mission, and she knew. Wraith personally, they had trained together, fought together, shared victories, and now she had to hunt him down before departure. General said, if he listens to anyone, it's you. Bring him in, or bring him down. Wraith moves again while Earth prepared. Wraith launched his next mission. His fleet moved toward the Yarnex system, the quiet place known for hiding Dravari weapons traders. Vara intercepted a message. Confirmed. Dravari scientists escaped from Velthor before the fall. There on Yarnex 3. Wraith spoke one word. Burn it. The Omega fleet jumped into orbit. No warning, no message, just fire. The galaxy reacts news. First fast. First Arrow 7, then Velthor Prime. Now Yarnex 3 was turned to glass. Many cheered. In secret, many feared in silence. Some alien factions began hiding their ships and closing their ports. One Zarkon general said, we laughed at humans once. Now, we wonder if we'll be next. Ayla finds him on the edge of the ruined Yarnex system. The Iron Rain arrived. Captain Ayla Drake stood on her bridge, staring at the trail left behind. Wreckage, fires, echoes of battle. She gave the order. Cloak the ship. Prepare for close approach. Hours later, she intercepted the Emberborn near a dead moon. A direct message was sent. No encryption, no tricks. Just one voice. Hers, Wraith. You need to stop. Earth is calling. You back? Let me bring you in before they send someone worse. The old friends meet to everyone's surprise, Wraith responded. He allowed her to dock. They met in the war chamber. Alone. Ayla wore black armor, just like him. Her eyes were cold. His. Unreadable, she said. You're turning the galaxy into fire. They'll come for you. Earth, the Council, everyone. Wraith didn't blink. Let them come, I warned them all. No one listened when they killed Eero 7. Now I speak in a language they understand. She stepped closer. And when you've burned every enemy, what's left of you then? A Choisila held a small silver disc. This is your way out. A full pardon, a chance to return. But you must stop the attacks. Let Earth take over now. Wraith looked at it, his hand hovered, and then dropped it. The disc hit the floor and shattered. He said softly, Justice doesn't pause. Tell them I said no. The Trapella turned her back, sadness in her eyes. Then suddenly, her wrist flicked in. She launched a nanodart toward Wraith's neck. But Wraith was faster. He spun, grabbed her arm midair, and flipped her across the room. She hit the wall with a thud. The lights flashed. Red. Security bots entered, but Wraith waved them down. He walked toward her calm. You tried. I respect that. But you don't stop a fire once it begins. Ick. Left her there, locked in a room with a medkit and food, no harm. No revenge, but no mercy either. Earth receives the message all. His ship was sent back on autopilot. She was unharmed, but she failed. The president saw the message from Wraith Eye. Gave you a chance. Now, I take the rest. Earth's council broke into arguments. Some shouted for war, others for peace. Some simply whispered, we created this monster. The Emberborn stood still, floating near the center of the neutral systems, close to the Galactic Council core. The stars were quiet, but something was coming. Inside the warship, Commander Wraith stared at the last name on his list. His voice was calm. This is the end. Vara, the AI, spoke. The Council holds no weapons. Is not a military target? Wrath whispered. They watched as Eero 7 burned and did nothing.
No.
They will answer. The Council responds inside the massive shining towers of the Galactic Council. Panic had taken hold. Ships around the central planet were preparing for war. Messages flew in from across the galaxy. Human ship inbound. Commander Wraith's fleet has entered Council space. All Council guards are ordered to fire on sight. One ambassador, shaking, said, We never expected this. Another whispered, We thought he was a myth. But the truth was coming, at faster-than-light speed. Earth's last plebe for the Omega fleet reached the core. Earth sent a final message. It wasn't from a general. It wasn't from the president. It was from a child, the daughter of a nurse, who died on Eros-7. She stood in front of a camera, voice shaking, Commander Wraith. My mom used to tell stories about you. She said you were the bravest. Please, no more fire. Please come home. Wraith watches inside his war room. Wrath stared at the screen in silence. He said nothing for a long time. Then finally he spoke. Begin transmission. The final message crossed the galaxy. Every screen, military, civilian, pirate, trader, went dark. Then a signal broke through. Commander Wraith's face appeared. Behind him, the full Omega fleet stood ready. He spoke clearly, calm, cold too. The Galactic Council, this is your last warning. You knew the Dravari Coalition planned to attack Eero 7. You let them pass your space. You let them burn my people. You said nothing. You did nothing. He paused. The galaxy held its breath. I am not a soldier anymore. I am the voice of the dead. This ends now. The assault that never came, the Omega fleet, surged forward. Weapons charged, shields raised, thousands of council. Defense drones stood ready to stop them. Just as they entered final range, the Emberborn stopped. Wraith gave no order to fire instead. Warship released a single pod. It floated slowly toward the council. Inside, a crystal cube, glowing with red light. The cube contained a full data package, all communications showing. The council's silence before Era 7. Names of those who blocked help. Proof of betrayal. Justice. Not revenge. The Emberborn turned. The Omega fleet followed. No shots were fired. No cities burned. Only the truth was delivered. The council sat frozen. Some wept, some resigned, and a few were arrested by their own people. The cube had changed everything. 1. Last goodbye later in deep space, Vara spoke. You had your chance to destroy them. Why didn't you? Wraith stood by the window. Stars drifted by. I came for justice, he said, not more ashes. He looked toward Earth's direction. Tell them. I'm not coming home. My war is over. The legacy begins. Months passed. Galaxies calmed. Peace talks restarted. The Dravari coalition collapsed from within. Era 7 survivors were honored. Across worlds, statues of the fallen were raised, and in the quiet corners of deep space, legends began to grow about a man named Reth, who burned stars for vengeance, but stopped the fire before it consumed them all. Final hook for ending plus comment section. Was Reth a hero or a threat? Did he stop the galaxy from falling ore? Scare it into silence? And where is he now, they say? He still flies somewhere out there, watching, waiting, and listening. The Omega fleet moved without sound. No music, no cheers, no celebration. Just fire. Its next target. Soranine, a wealthy trade system with tall crystal cities, peaceful farms, and over 10 billion aliens who once mocked Earth. They had celebrated the attack on Eros-7 now. They prepared to beg for mercy. But mercy wasn't coming. The Soranine, Exception Soranine, had always played both sides. When the Dravari coalition attacked Eros-7, Soranine provided fuel and scanners. But when the Galactic Council called for peace, Soranine claimed innocence. Their leaders smiled on camera. We are a peaceful world, had no role in this. Behind closed doors, they toasted with Dravari leaders. They believed no one would ever know, but Commander Wraith did, and he remembered everything. Ember burns, arrival Soranines, orbital scanners picked up nothing. Then, suddenly, its shadow spread across their sun. A massive human ship emerged, followed by 10 more. The Omega fleet. Cities on Soranine went into lockdown. Ships launched. Messages were sent. We surrender. We'll pay. Please, we're sorry. No reply. Only the sound of charging weapons. The AI voice returned. Lies build empires. But fire reveals truth. The fire begins. Omega drones entered the atmosphere. No missiles, no nukes, no wide destruction. Just precision fire. They burned only government buildings, only factories that built Dravari weapons, only ships marked with traitor tags. The people watched in silence. There were no explosions in the sky, only slow, exact destruction. One child asked her father, "Why aren't they stopping?" The father held her close and whispered, "Because they remember." Inside the control room, Commander Wraith stood aboard. Emberborn. He watched the destruction of Soranine with cold eyes. His AI assistant, Vara, spoke beside him. Soranine systems neutralized. Civilian casualties, minimal. Leaders terminated. Nodded. Send the broadcast. The fleet released a new message across the galaxy. You laughed when we died. Now you will not laugh as we remember. This is not revenge. This is memory in motion. If you helped him, we will find you. Earth reacts back on Earth. The mood was shifting. What began as silence was now panic. Leaders feared the Omega fleet had gone too far. One general spoke during a secret meeting. He's not just punishing the guilty. He's sending a message to everyone, Even us. Earth's president ordered a mission. Find Wraith. Bring him home before he burns the entire galaxy. But no one knew where he was, or how to stop a man leading AI warships built for vengeance. The fear spreads across the stars. More systems surrendered. Some offered human statues. Others renamed cities after Arrow 7 victims. Few even arrested their own leaders to prove loyalty to Earth. But the Omega fleet ignored them all. They followed one rule: help the Dravari, you die. Planets once full of life turned silent, alien. News networks cried for help, but the fleets never responded. They came, judged, and left nothing behind but smoke. A Dravari message, then something unexpected happened. A message came from deep space. It was from a hidden Dravari fortress. Their highest leader, Charmel, spoke. "We are not afraid of Earth. Let your fire come. We are ready." He laughed as he spoke. Behind him stood weapons the galaxy had never seen. Wormhole mines, gravity breakers, sun-killer cannons. You were ants, and now you pretend to be lions. Come, Commander Wraith. Let us see if your fire burns in darkness too. Emberborn responds on the Emberborn. Wraith stood still. He watched the message again and again, not with anger, but with silence. Then he looked at Vara. How many humans died on Arrow 7 because of Charmel's command? Vara answered, 3,427,889. Confirmed deaths, mostly civilians. 47% children? Wraith nodded. Set course for the Dravari core world. Full fleet. Vara hesitated. Earth has ordered recall. They demand we stop. Wraith turned slowly. Earth forgot. The galaxy forgot. I did not. Prepare the fire. The Omega fleet now moved toward the Dravari core world, the heart of the enemy alliance that destroyed Eros-7. It was called Velthur Prima Planet, hidden inside layers of defense shields, dark energy clouds, and sun-blinding satellites. 4. 2,000 years, no outsider had ever seen its surface. Now, it would be seen by fire. The Council panics on the Galactic Council's moon station. Panic filled the chambers. Screens showed the destruction of Soranine. Warnings blinked red as the Omega fleet advanced. Ambassadors shouted, Velthar Prime must survive. This will break the balance of power. Where is Earth's control over this madman? But Earth said nothing. Their communication with Wraith had failed. Every signal was blocked. One council member whispered, if he reaches Velthar, there won't be a galaxy left to rule. Deep within Velthar, inside the core city of Velthar Prime, Charmo, the Dravari warlord, stood before his generals. He was 10 feet tall, covered in scaled armor, and known across the galaxy as the Breaker of Moons. He smiled as his scanners showed the incoming human fleet. Let them come. Them bring their machines, their fire, their hate. We have waited for this. Around him were weapons never tested. Planetary shields woven from neutron webbing. Quantum torpedoes that ignored time. The Black Sun Array, system that could erase an entire fleet in seconds. But there was one secret he didn't share, a secret buried deep beneath Velthar's crust, something even Rave didn't know about yet. Rytha prepares for the final strike aboard. Emberborn Commander Wraith stood in the war chamber, staring at the hologram of Velthar Prime. The defenses were thick, too. Thick. Even Omega-class weapons might not break them fast enough. Vara, the AI, spoke. Direct strike may take hours. Probability of counterattack, 98%. Wraith nodded. He placed his hand on the table. Then we don't strike from above. We go inside. Vara paused. You plan to land on Velthar Prime? Wraith's voice was calm. I plan to walk on the bones of the guilty. The ground assault begins. 12 Omega-class dropships launched. Each carried advanced Exomarines, humans in black armor with plasma-edged swords and cloaking fields. Their mission: disable the Black Sun Array from the inside. Explosions rocked the surface as the first wave landed. Velthar's skies turned dark. The Dravari defenders fought like demons. But they had never faced human fury like this. One Marine shouted over comms, they're strong, but they're not ready. We are. The ghosts of Arrow 7. Charmel's last gamble inside his war chamber. Charmel watched the humans break through the outer lines. He activated his final defense. The Oblivion engine, it was not a weapon of destruction. It was a weapon of disappearance. If activated, it would pull Velthar Prime into a void dimension, trapping everyone inside it forever. He sneered. If I fall, I take your justice with me. Wraith's Reckoning Commander Wraith and his strike team reached the control core. Bodies of elite Dravari soldiers lined the halls. Wraith's armor was damaged. His blade glowed red. Vara whispered in his ear. Oblivion engine activation detected. We have 6 minutes. Wraith ran forward, slicing through the last defenders. He reached the central room and found Charmel waiting. No armor. No shield. Just the Warlord and a glowing red console. CHARR-MAAL growled. You think you are justice? You are just another monster wearing a human face. Wraith stepped closer. Then let me show you what a monster can do. The final fight. They clashed, claws against steel, fangs against flame. Wraith moved like a machine, controlled, focused. Armal fought with rage and fury. The fight shook the chamber, at last. Wraith drove his blade through the Warlord's chest. CHARR-MAAL dropped to his knees. You were supposed to be weak. Wraith leaned in. So were the people on Arrow 7. He turned and slammed his hand onto the consoldus, enabling the Oblivion. Engine seconds before activation, the room went dark, and then the message went. Out the galaxy watch. Sifri system. Every moon. Every station. All screens lit up with Wraith's face. He looked straight into the camera. His voice was cold and sharp. Velthar Prime has fallen. Charmel is dead. He helped the Dravari. Hide. We are coming. Arrow 7 was not forgotten. It was remembered in fire. Then the screen cut out. The galaxy held its breath. Earth reacts again back on Earth. Leaders were frozen. One admiral whispered, He's gone beyond revenge. This is a crusade now. Another general stood up. He's too powerful. Can't let one man control this kind of force. Earth's president finally spoke. Find him. Stop him, before he decides we're guilty too.